Alright, listen up. Here is the plan. Starting tomorrow, we are diving into Scrum. Don't freak out, I've already lined up the teams. Let me walk you through it. So, for the engineers, Liam is stepping in as the product owner and will also take charge of the junior team. Arjun and Jung are part of his crew. Rajesh will handle the mid-levels with Anna, Tariq, and Samir on his team. And I've thrown Hiroshi into the mix. He's our go-to guru and likes to fly solo, but he is with us. That makes 8 on that team. And with you included, we are at 9. Perfect size for a Scrum team. Keeps it under 10. Now let's talk about the others. We have got Lucas, Olivia, and Jasmine who just joined us. They are definitely on this team. Maria's also in the mix, and she'll be leading Chloe and Jasmine. We are adding Elena and Omar as well. One will take the product owner role for this group. I was considering Fatima for that spot, but instead she will lead Sophia, Omar, and Elena. And yes, Sophia's in there too. So that's 10 with US 11. We're good to go. Lastly, the QA team is small but mighty. Nina, Nia, and David. David's mainly a support player, so he's not leading. Nia's got the reins here. We are bringing in 2 more QA folks next week to round things out. And you? Yes, you will be the Scrum Master for all these teams. Does that sound like a solid plan to you? Hi again, I'm Art, a professional Scrum Master, and this series for anyone aiming to achieve Scrum Master certification at any level, learn or update their Scrum knowledge, and advance their career as a Scrum Master. We'll cover questions at 3 levels: fundamental, advanced, and expert that you might encounter in exams or real-world scenarios. We'll delve deep exploring questions from various angles, understanding the what for fundamental knowledge, the how for advanced insights, and the why for expert understanding. So let's jump into today's questions, but before that, like this video and subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so you won't miss the upcoming episodes. Feel free to pause this video, take notes, and think through your answers.
True or false, Scrum team of 13 people must be reorganized into 2 smaller Scrum teams.
You are going to act as the Scrum Master in a company with a newly formed Scrum team. The CEO of the company shares their concerns with you about the Scrum team. Which of the following statements are the most problematic for you? Choose the best 2. A. If the developers would like to have product-related meetings with themselves or stakeholders, other than Scrum events, they are free to do so. B. The product owner will act as a developer as well, since he has front-end skills. C. You are not accountable of delivered increment to stakeholders. D. The product owner should be the only responsible person for stakeholder collaboration. E. The developers will consist of the company's specialists, including a data scientist, UI designer, 2 front-end developers, 3 back-end developers, a QA specialist, and a database administrator. F. 2 developers or part-time employees.
The organization faces challenges in forming teams with 80 employees and has proposed 2 different strategies. The first strategy involves creating teams based on employees' skill levels and seniority, such as senior specialists, mid-senior, and junior teams. The second strategy focuses on skill-based teams, such as front-end team, UI, UX team, back-end team, QA team, and database team. What are your suggestions on which strategy to pursue?
Okay, I hope you have already prepared your answers to the questions, and we'll analyze them by the end of this video, but for now let's understand some key points about the Scrum team. And first of all, let's see what the accountabilities are within the Scrum team. And there are only 3 accountabilities in a Scrum team: the developers, the product owner, and the Scrum Master. So whenever you hear the phrase Scrum team, It's important to note that it refers to the developers, the product owner, and the Scrum Master. It's a common mistake to think that the Scrum team refers only to the developers. Nope. The product owner and Scrum Master are also part of the Scrum team, along with the developers. It's also crucial to stress that when we say there are 3 accountabilities, it doesn't mean that every Scrum team should have a dedicated person for each accountability. No. The same person can hold multiple accountabilities or the same accountability within various Scrum teams, thereby being a part of different Scrum teams. So, okay, let me ask you a question. Choose 3 characteristics of a Scrum team. So, what characteristics should a Scrum team have? Leave your options in the comments. So look, one of the most important characteristics of a Scrum team is being small. So what is small? 3 people, 5, 10, 15, 20? According to the Scrum Guide 2020, it's typically 10 or fewer. But not. Typically doesn't mean must, right? So 10 is like a middle ground. It can be 8, it can be 12, or more as well. And defining what is small can vary considering different factors such as the maturity of the team, prior experience in working together, or business needs. So small is a must, but 10 is not a must. Give me another characteristics of a Scrum team. Cross-functionality. Look, cross-functionality is vital. It means that I have the skills to do my part of the job, and also I have enough skills to understand your part of the job. And what do I mean by this? Look, cross-functionality is about being a team member. Go to battle without me and you will struggle. Send me to battle alone and I will struggle. But together we'll do the job. So respectively, what is the next characteristic? Self-managing. A Scrum team doesn't wait for managers to come and say what to do. They handle it on their own. And by their own, I don't mean independently. I mean with the whole team. They decide who does what. And factors such as the product goal, current sprint goal, products research, stakeholders' feedback, and other product-related factors influence their navigation. And how can a team be not only cross-functional, but also self-managing? It's not that easy. Okay, so how do the previous what's work? Have you ever heard of the Ringelmann effect? Long story short, the Ringelmann effect is about how people tend to work less hard in larger teams. There is plenty of empirical evidence on this, but I will leave that for you to explore on Google Scholar. Now, it's essential that the way work gets done in smaller teams versus larger teams is different. So the larger the team, the more challenges it brings. So how does cross-functionality work in smaller teams? There are 2 sides to this question, and both are important. First, the mindset. Are we all clear about the product goal? And can we collaborate effectively to achieve it? So according to the Scrum Guide 2020, the entire Scrum team is accountable for creating a valuable, useful increment every sprint. The Scrum team is accountable. The product owner is accountable. The Scrum Master is accountable. All developers are accountable. My win is your win. My loss is your loss. Second, the technical skills. This also means that the team members often have generalist skills. And I'm not saying that UI designer needs to be an expert in programming. But when UI UX designer creates a mock-up for a feature like, let's say, a real-time collaboration, they should consider how this feature might impact back-end infrastructure, data synchronization algorithms, load and performance handling, conflict resolution logic, and so on. So cross-functionality, it's not about like how your teammate does the job. It's about like understanding how much time and effort, at least approximately, it might take and how it aligns with the product goal. Self-management comes into play to answer those how questions. The Scrum Guide states that within a Scrum team, there are no sub-teams or hierarchies. This means each team member is capable of planning what needs to be done, when, and how. The Scrum team is responsible for all product-related activities, including stakeholder collaboration, verification, maintenance, operation, experimentation, research, development, anything else required. In other words, the Scrum team as a whole takes all necessary actions to deliver value. Let's take examples. If a Scrum developer who handles marketing needs to communicate with a stakeholder to clarify product-related needs, they don't have to wait for the next sprint review, right? A quick email could solve this. Don't have an email? Who does? The product owner? Ask them to share it. Or if a functionality is ready from the backend developer side, should they wait until the end of the sprint for QA to test it? It's an option, but why not to do it now? If a UI designer has two mockups and is unsure which is the best, should they go outside the team to resolve this? Please help, please help. No, right? Self-manage. Collaborate with the team. Be cross-functional. Yes, there are challenges. The product owner might not be immediately available, especially with multiple teams. The Scrum Master might serve multiple teams or even be part of the developers. A developer who could help might be part-time employee and not available today. Stakeholders might be unavailable due to public holidays in their country. Self-managing and cross-functional teams find a way out. Why small teams? Why cross-functional teams? And why self-managing teams? Okay, name your favorite band, like music band. I wish Rocky was here, he would have enjoyed this talk. Okay, let's go with the American metal band Slipknot. They have 9 members, if they haven't changed the band size recently. 3 members have vocal skills. 4 play string instruments like guitar and bass, and 4 handle percussion instruments like drums. And 4 also play keyboard instruments. Regardless of their individual skills, they have their main instruments on stage. However, because of their shared goal, producing music and performing live, they collaborate cross-functionally. One is the lead singer, another is the drummer, another plays bass and another guitar, while another is the keyboardist, but together they are musicians. So similarly in Scrum, everyone does their part, but they can perform live because they understand each other. I can't play drums, but I need rhythm and timing to play my guitar. I can't code, but as a UI UX designer, I know what mockup to provide so it won't ruin the backend infrastructure. Also in Scrum, we use the word developers not to exclude, but to simplify. So developers in a music band context are our musicians. Of course, in a band there are other important roles like sound engineers, producers, but let's stop there. Cross-functionality is not about having people of the same seniority level or the same skill set in one team. We don't want only 5 extremely talented guitarists in a band. We want a mix of musicians, skills, ideas, creativity, and personalities. We want people who can cross-functionally work together. Cross-functionality won't happen without self-managing individuals. The term self-managing was introduced in the Scrum Guide 2020. Previously, it was referred to as self-organizing. Honestly, it's just a matter of wording. Potato, potato. The idea remains the same. There are, of course, some nuances to the change in wording, and we'll talk about it in next episode. Remember our boss perfect plan about forming a team from 80 employees shown at the beginning of this episode? So what was wrong with that idea? So for the engineers, Liam is stepping in as the product owner and will also take charge of the junior team. Take charge of the junior team? What does that mean? hierarchies within a Scrum team. The product owner's focus is not on managing juniors.
Unless juniors are part of the product backlog.
Rajesh will handle the mid-levels. Does this imply sub-teams? He is our go-to guru and likes to fly solo, but he is with us. What does this even mean? Is it just assigned to the team but never acts as a cross-functional team member? And with you included, we are at 9. Perfect size for a Scrum team. Keeps it under 10. Scrum team size is not about numbers. Aiming to have fewer than 10 people doesn't guarantee cross-functional and self-managing teams. Yes, the team should be small, but including or excluding people just to get closer to the number 10 isn't how it works. Now let's talk about the others. Do we have a team of engineers and a team of others? Cross-functionality means marketing works with sales. Sales work with engineers. Engineers work with customer support. Cross-functional means developers work with UI UX designers and QA works on the features they created. Yes, having component teams might work, and it's not as bad as it sounds, but feature teams sound more cross-functional. And it's the team's call to decide which way to go. Each team has its own energy, and it's better to do a workshop or a similar activity when forming teams. After all, the boss won't be a part of any teams or involved in everyday work as a team player, will he? Scrum teams are cross-functional and self-managing, and team formation is the best time to let the team use these characteristics. Juan will take the product owner role for this group. Oh god, a second product owner. David's mainly a support player, so he's not leading. Support player. Are we playing football? Is this some kind of substitution? Are we going to substitute developers in the middle of sprint? Wait, I am Scrum Master. I'm not an Agile coach. But even if I were an Agile coach, how do you understand the coach part? Did I miss something from the boss idea about team formation? If there is something, let me know in the comments. So, the product owner manages the product backlog. Developers manage the sprint backlog. Scrum Master manages the process of how Scrum is being implemented in the organization. But before all this, they are doing the hardest management ever. They are managing themselves. Time for the answers. We have a true or false statement here. And the keyword here that helps us decide whether this is true or false is must. A Scrum team of 13 people might be considered for reorganization. But must? This question is just about the number 13. And that number alone is not enough of a metric to dictate an action like must. While the Scrum Guide states that a Scrum team is typically 10 or fewer people, it doesn't mandate that exact number. So the answer here is false. Okay, for this question, let's go through each option one by one and find the most problematic ones. We'll use a 5-star Likert scale to measure the severity of the situation where 5 is the most severe and 1 is safe. So A, the developers organize the product-related meetings with themselves and stakeholders. Okay? Developers are cross-functional and self-managing. They do what needs to be done. This is safe for me, so I'm giving this 1 out of 5. B, the product owner will act as a developer. Honestly, I would like to ask the product owner whether they want this accountability or not, just to know how comfortable they are with it. But let's not go that deep, otherwise we also need to understand the complexity of that product. So being simultaneously a product owner and a Scrum developer is somewhat problematic for me. It's not extremely severe, but neither is it safe. So I'll give it this 2.5-ish. Okay, let it be 3 out of 5. C, I'm not accountable of delivered increment.
Cool, that's exactly what I want. No responsibilities, let's move on. Come on, let's move on. Next option.
Okay, as a Scrum Master, I am part of Scrum Team. And like anyone in a Scrum team, I am also accountable for the increment that is being created and delivered to stakeholders. So this is severe one. 5 out of 5. D. The product owner should be the only responsible person for stakeholder collaboration. So no product owner, no stakeholders. Putting the whole responsibility for stakeholder engagement on the product owner's shoulders violates the self-management of teams and creates unnecessary dependencies. So 5 out of 5 here as well. E. The developers will consist of this. Okay, this is safe. F. 2 developers are part-time employees. It's either safe or maybe just 2 out of 5 slightly safe. There are some it depends scenarios, but in general it's okay. So my top 2 are C and D. And those are the answers for this question. Next question. Let employees decide how to proceed. Help with that. Don't inform the decision, but guide them to reach a conclusion. We have already talked about feature teams and component teams, and here I also see hierarchical teams. And actually, if we mix component teams and hierarchical teams, we might get the teams we want. I'm not sure what I would do in this situation. I know I would involve those 80 employees in a team formation process, but I would also try to understand how the organization works and their prior experience in working as teams. I would come up with ideas on how to organize a team formation event. It could be a workshop or something as simple as an email to employees asking them to form teams, providing enough details and offering possible help if necessary. Understanding the dependencies between the formed teams is also crucial. And finding ways to minimize and control those dependencies is the next step in this situation.
Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed the content, let me know in the comments below. Feel free to suggest other Scrum topics that you are interested in. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and to stay updated with our latest videos. See you soon.
And I'll see you soon. Bye.